its heyday in the early 1900s, Concho was a thriving metropolis. It was the second largest town in the state of Arizona, larger than Phoenix, second only to Tucson. It had 3 banks. It was a major area of industry, an area for sheep herders, for cattle ranchers. This is Concho School, the place where I went to school. My father, my grandfather, and grandmother before him. This is where I used to play with my children, my friends, Peter, Paul, the Rodriguez, and of course, this is where my teacher Urbani taught me mathematics, English, science, and pottery making. I remember this well. 10 children screaming, playing, but now it is rusted, old, and antique. No longer the thriving place that it once was, yet still beautiful. This is what remains of Concho School, my memories. Shortly after the school was taken away from us and moved up to the hill, 3 or 4 miles away, it was converted into a historical society where the records of Concho were kept, the dialogue, documentaries, this great historical land. And now it is nothing but embers, taken away from us a year ago, September 25th, 1990. Now there is very little to show. Very little except that which is in our memories, of our children, friends, of our experiences in the school. That remains. My old home. The place where my father, Hector, was born. Not much now, but as in the school, many memories. Of course, we did not have many of the modern conveniences. There were only 3 rooms in this adobe. Many of the old homes and the old structures were adobe types, such as this. But you see, here was a convenience, perhaps. This was our outhouse. I have many pleasant memories of our outhouse. Come. We're off to get the mail today. Post office is one of our more modern stores here in Concho. It's my box 94. Yeah, no mail today. See, there are still perhaps many boxes in the Concho post office, perhaps because it is modern and it very customer service oriented. Another modern convenience we have, we can take out the trash. Give me a hand. Many friendly people who help us. Because we here in Concho are friendly people. We remember we are family. This one's here. Come along. Concho experienced a resurgence and a boom around 1977. At that time, we had 2 gas stations over there, one over here. As you can see, perhaps neither one of them works so well anymore. But I was lamenting 42 cents a gallon. Here we have the Concho sandbags. Of course, it seems that someone else has been using it for something else. Litter has devastated this area as it has in the major cities. Concho is a land much watered. If you look up into the majestic mountains, you can see the runoff in this area and the crops that benefit from it. Grazing cattle, sheep, raising commodities for the locals. Here's one of the runoff drains. It's interesting to see some of the things that people write. artists in Concho. Come, let us go. This used to be my friend Enrique's, as you can see, a highway diner. Very prevalent in the 1920s. There were many thriving, booming kinds of things along this road. There it was, right there, later converted into a home, most recently occupied until 1977. Like Grego Barrera's, over here down the road, these diners were able to accommodate many of the traveling, passing passengers as they made their way from Mexico on down to Phoenix. Perhaps the last remaining. Still open for business. Porphy's Place. A bar, dancing pool, and cafe. Where they have cool ones. Budweiser and Coors on tap. An opportunity for refreshment after a hard day of ranching or traveling. Here's an area named Erastus. It is on the west side of Concho, originally settled by the Mormon people. The Mormons and our ancestors, the Hispanics, fought bitterly for many years. We were taken as captives, as their slaves. We were made to be in the back, sitting in the backs of the bus. But we are proud people. We have heritage. And we drove the Mormons away to a town named St. John's. 15 miles away, restored the town of Concho to its rightful and proper ownership. Come with me. I will show you water, ambrosia, food of the gods. It is what has made this place paradise, what this place has thrived on for many years. This is the water, the source of life for me and my people. It has flowed down for hundreds of years from the springs of Concho Valley, and it continues to flow, giving us life through irrigation and through drinking. It has allowed us to prosper and to grow as a people, and it continues as our source and our inheritance. One cannot mention Concho without mentioning the wonderful neighbors that we have. Here's the land owned by Cowboy and Thelma McCarthy. And of course we have the Garcias, the Bacas, and the Garcias. These are homes that have stood for 150 years, and they're still almost as good as new. We have some other neighbors to show you. Neighbors such as the Dominguezes and the Rodriguezes. The Rodriguezes are people who have a long line and proud heritage. It was their great-great-great-grandfather who founded this valley, who found it only second to the Indians, drove the Indians out in true, proud Mexican heritage, killing them, driving them away, proving the superior race. Bring you to the home of Juan and Sarah Dominguez. This is an area of town that we usually reserve for summer homes, summer vacationing people from Phoenix and the Valley. Some of these trailers over here are people who do not live here all year long, but people such as the retired, the elderly, who move to the valley for the warm winters and come back here to the home of their hearts, Concho, Arizona, for the summers, which is relatively mild. This is an area of ecology, where the environment and ecology come first. As you can see, we are proud people, a proud land. Of course, not all of the residents of Concho are Hispanic breed, of superior caliber. We have here a home belonging to Nadine Beckwood, an elderly retired lady, a person who has made Concho her home for at least 15 to 20 years. Nadine is a recluse. She doesn't come out very much. She used to have dogs, but they were shot. Speaking of shootings, there was a shooting here less than a year ago of a man. One of the few murders that ever happened in Concho. Of course, it's only fair to say that the only reason that it did was because it was not of the heritage and the proud Hispanic tradition, but rather by a gringa in her home. Yet we could not speak of Concho without mentioning at least one other place. The Cohee residence. It is a farm that was put together by a group of people who came some 15 years ago. They're wretched people. They're scum. Not true to the Hispanic, proud Mexican heritage. They've put together this place which is utterly a despicable place. Vile and heinous, gross home. A place where they've attempted to plant a few trees. A place that is barren, has nothing, which is any value, yet these people live here. And they continue to degrade the area of Concho. Its natural, pristine beauty. The Cohees have allowed us to come and film on location some of the things that they have attempted to do for a 16-year period of time. Here are a couple of miserable shrubs, trees. They obviously have not done their weeding. Of course, as many people who are not native to Concho, they bring with them things such as satellite dishes, perverting the natural landscape and the natural beauty. They bring dogs, vile, heinous dogs, which have no use for anything, not even a good sheepdog. And of course, they have attempted to do things such as orchards. Here it is said that there are some 200 to 300 to 400 trees planted. Yet I bet that there's, and never will be, one bit of drop of fruit. This is a willow that was planted 10 years ago. Notice how poorly it has grown. It seems to be suffering from lack of water, proper care. Of course, these people tried to keep animals, chickens, make their eggs. Of course, everyone knows that no one can keep chickens. Geese. They build miserable structures such as this one. Pen these animals up and deprive them of their liberty. Here's what they have called a garden and a greenhouse. They do not even have the decency to build an outhouse, rather a greenhouse where they need help trying to make their plants grow. All of these things that have been done, a perversion to the soil of Concho, a reason why it is that Concho is on a fast track with the end as we know it. Forgotten land, perhaps, but in this day of crime and violence, in a day of overcrowding of schools, a day of people shooting people for no apparent reason, people trapped like rats in a cage, perhaps it is that Concho will be rediscovered. This great rural land. It's a great intersection between the metropolises of Sholo, St. John's, and Holbrook. Perhaps it is that the greatness that once was ours will once be again in the land of Concho, Arizona.